I got 4:30. I'd like to call the meeting of Leesburg Planning and Zoning Commission to order. It is Thursday, April 18th, 2024, 4:30. Please stand for the pledge of the flag and the invocation, or invocation and pledge of the flag.
Dear Lord, we ask you to be with us today, to give us the ears to hear the wisdom we need, to make the decisions that are pleasing in your sight. We pray this in thy most holy name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, everybody's had a chance to look at the minutes. Are there any additions, corrections, or deletions? If not, I'll accept the motion to approve.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Is that okay on that one?
No, I wasn't here.
Right. No, I was, as soon as I said that, I was thinking, should we do a roll call on that? I mean, is a voice okay for that one?
Yes.
Okay. Every week, every month I go, should I have done that or this? All right. You want to swear in the staff?
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay.
Thank you. And I don't mind skipping over your initial spiel if you don't mind.
I was going to ask if we could,
Never mind, we got somebody now.
if I,
Do you plan on speaking?
Depends.
Okay. Will you swear him in?
Oh, okay.
Okay.
We just got through doing it.
Aye.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing?
you want me to summarize a
Yes.
little bit?
Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to welcome everyone to the April 18, 2024 City of Leesburg Planning Commission meeting. My name is Dan Miller, Planning Director for the city. Staff with us today includes Executive Assistant Sabrina Mitchell, Deputy Director Candy Harper, Senior Planner Christine Rock, and Planner Melissa Metters. Also, Attorney Jennifer Koch is here today at today's meeting. If you wish to speak on a case, we'd ask you to please sign the speaker's registry and turn it in to Sabrina, who's seated here on my left. Under the rules of participation, the chairman will announce the case. Staff will read a list of exhibits. Staff will then read a recommendation into the record. The applicant will have an opportunity to speak about the request. The chairman will allow time for public comments. The applicant will be given a time for rebuttal. The chairman will close the case. Commission will discuss the case. There will be a vote taken. We'll move to the next case. The Planning Commission is appointed by the City Commission. They're charged with making final decisions on cases such as rezonings on the agenda, and they are charged with making recommendations for issues to be heard by the City Commission. We do have 7 cases on today's agenda. Of those 7 cases, staff is requesting that 4 would be postponed. Of the remaining 3, 1 is a final decision by the Planning Commission, and 2 are recommendations of this commission to the City Commission. Those 2 items will be scheduled for 2 hearings on the City Commission agenda, and each of those cases will have a final decision by the City Commission. There are tentative dates on the City Commission agendas, and you can check with our office if you have any concerns about when those dates will be heard. So on behalf of the planning staff and planning commission, we thank you for participating in today's public hearing process. Mr. Chairman, staff is prepared for you to announce the first case.
Thank you very much. And new business number 1, the first number 1, public hearing case number CUP 2435, Carver Drive, number 1 project, conditional use permit.
We're going to turn on both screens, Mr. Chairman, to make sure you can see those well. If you want to go ahead on this one, Melissa, and I'll work that while you're working. For some reason, it doesn't appear to have been coming on correctly. There we go. Okay, you got it. Go ahead.
Hi, good afternoon. Sorry. As you can see on the locator map, it shows the subject property in respect to the major roadways. I had to put some roads on there so you guys can see. It's right there. That's Thomas, and that's Griffin right there, and that's the trail. And the aerial shows that the property is east of Thomas Avenue and just north of Carver Drive. The property zoning is M1 industrial. The property's future land use is institutional. Surrounding land use of the property is the City of Leesburg, office, vacant industrial, vacant residential, and single-family residential to the immediate area. There are no flood zones or wetlands on the property. And the property is in the Carver Heights Community Redevelopment Area. And the Commission District is 2. As you can see, the first photo is the close-up of the sign on the subject property on Carver Drive. The one below is looking north from Carver Drive onto the subject property. Looking east along Carver Drive from the subject property. On the bottom, it's looking south across Carver Drive from the subject property. And then looking west along Carver Drive from the subject property. And then the bottom is looking north along Thomas Avenue. And then looking east from Thomas Avenue onto subject property, since it's on a corner, looking south along Thomas Avenue, and then looking west across Thomas Avenue from the subject property. And that's all for now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Melissa. By way of background, Mr. Chairman, this is a request for a conditional use permit to allow for 3 uses: daycare, what's called a respite, and then an educational facility in an M1 industrial zoning on the corner there. General location is north of Carver Drive and east of Thomas Avenue. The total area of the property is approximately 3/4 of an acre, so there's enough land there. The proposal would allow a use which essentially removes children from bad situations until they can be relocated to a more stable environment. That's what we understand the term respite to be. We have been working with the applicant on different projects that she's done. She's done a daycare, and I'm sorry she's not here today. But she's done daycare. She does a daycare for special needs children. And one of the things that she would like to do is they work with the state of Florida. So when there are cases of abuse or something of that nature, they will go get a child in the middle of the night and give them a place to stay long enough until they can be given a good foster home, somewhere to help with the situation. So that's the explanation of what they're requesting to do. Under the departmental review summary, the project was sent out to all the local city departments and Lake County government and school board. There were no substantive comments from the city departments in terms of utilities or uses. Lake County Public Works had no comments, and the school board had no comments. That was an NA for them. The project was sent out per state of Florida and City of Leesburg notice requirements and was legally advertised and sent out to the surrounding property owners. There were no public comments received. With that, I'd like to move to the recommendation, please.
Dan,
Sir?
she showed up.
There's Miss Dudley is here. Thank you. So how would you like to move forward, Mr. Chairman? You want me to read the recommendation?
Oh, yeah,
Go
keep
ahead
going.
and keep
Yeah.
going? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, she doesn't come up till after that anyway, so.
Okay, that's correct. I'm sorry. So the owner of the property is Love Thy Neighbor Community Services, Wandretta L. Dudley. This is Carver Drive project for a conditional use for a daycare, respite, and educational facility under CUP 2435. Planning and Zoning Division is recommending approval of this request for the following reasons. One, the request meets the criteria set forth in Chapter 25, Section 141, Conditional Uses, and Section 25-284, District Use Regulations of the City of Leesburg Code of Ordinances for the granting of a conditional use permit. Two, it's subject to the conditions listed in the conditional use permit and does not appear to create a detrimental impact to the surrounding properties. And three, the request does not create an inconsistency with the City of Leesburg comprehensive plan. The conditions are basically saying that it's subject to all of the City of Leesburg code requirements. We're going to use the neighborhood commercial zoning district development standards, which would slightly amend the setbacks because they're a little bit larger in the standard industrial. The external architecture of the building is covered by the exhibits that are shown later in this. It's given an impervious surface coverage maximum, 35% as open space, dark sky lighting. Similar, we've done some things similar to a PUD, just not as many because they're not needed. And parking will be in consistency with Chapter 25-357 and the parking. Of course, impact fees and all other requirements and fees would apply here. So that is the summary of the case and the conditions. There are in the packet under Exhibit B, a little bit at the back, Christina, thank you, of some samples. There we go. I don't know if we can twist those, but this is a basic sample of what she would like to do on the architecture. A little bit different, but I think it would work. Something similar to this would be fine as long as it meets our architectural standards. We're going to be fine on it from the staff standpoint. There's also some examples of acceptable and unacceptable lighting fixtures, which meets the dark sky requirement. But from that standpoint, Mr. Chairman, staff is recommending approval, and Ms. Lynn Dudley is here to answer any other questions you may have, sir.
Okay, just one question to staff, or I have one anyway. It's understood what that zoning is and what the surrounding.
Yes, sir.
So there's no. I don't want any complaints about industrial stuff being done.
We can add notice in the CUP that if you'd like, and we've done this in some PUDs. When you said that, it just brought it to mind that the property is located in an industrial area.
Okay.
Basically, it's almost like you would say hidden in plain sight.
Right.
So that the kids are safe. And that's the reason why we can, one of the reasons we feel like we can support it.
I'm familiar with the area, and
if you'd like, though, we'll add a condition that it is
I just want to make sure that she
zoning.
understands that. So I don't want to,
Yes, sir.
Later on.
Yeah, I don't want her to come back, no offense, but I don't want to come back,
People do come
saying
back.
there's too much noise out there.
What we've done in PUD zonings when they've been up close to something like that is added a notice, the requirement. And basically, we could say in here that we just add a requirement saying it is zoned in M1 and there's a possibility of industrial uses in the area.
Okay. That was my only comment. Anybody have any questions of staff? Okay. Would you like to add anything or give us your name and address, please?
Yes, my name is Lynn Dudley. I go by Lynn. Birth name Wandretta Dudley. Now you know why I go by Lynn. Address is 2106 Butler Street, Leesburg, Florida. I've been.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. She needs to be sworn in.
Oh.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth,
Thank
and
you.
nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. My address is 2106 Butler Street, Leesburg, Florida. Our agency has been in existence for over 24 years, so it's not like we're new to the area. We do support individuals with unique abilities. We operate 5 group homes licensed under Agency for Persons with Disabilities. We have partnered with our foster care agencies to help with the overflow of neglected and abused children with and without disabilities. due to no fault of their own, they've been pulled from their families. We have provided transportation for the central region, which includes 5 counties: Lake, Marion, Citrus, Hernando, and Sumter counties, and sometimes even outside of that area. We have provided our respite homes for day and night services. We're asking for your consideration of Carver to have the change of use to help these children. We will offer respite care, educational, and virtual school when the child is not in school or waiting to be enrolled for school. When the building is not in use for this purpose, we would like to house our new nonprofit, Dream Up Community Development Corporation. This component will benefit our community at large with services such as job training skills, self-advocacy programs, after-school and summer programs, parenting, therapeutic art, music programs, and any community project that would benefit our community to help us or some people for self-sufficiency. I thank you for hearing me out today, and we are asking for your consideration to allow this change of use so that children can be placed in a loving and caring foster home that will embrace them and give them the support they need until they are reunified with their custodial families.
Thank you. Any questions of the?
Yes, ma'am. I have a question. Excuse me.
Be recognized from the chair. Go ahead, Ken.
Okay. Just curious, what is the age group of the, you say, children? And in looking at this plan of the building, you say you take them at night or bring them in there and take care of them. This looks like a school. Where do they sleep?
There would be a second floor for the housing part.
Oh, so, all right. So I guess I'm
Yeah,
just
there was a
looking
floor
at
plan of that. It looked like there was rows of beds, or were those
Yes.
desks? Yeah, right.
these are tables and chairs.
Oh, okay.
It's preliminary plans, but there will be housing upstairs.
Okay, and the basic age group, you say children,
Children up to age 17,
17?
yes. Sometimes it could be
That's a lot.
newborn if they come from the hospital up until age 17.
So about how many people or children are you can accommodate?
That depends on the architect and the square footage of the building. And planning and zoning and building will let me know how many we could house.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So we're a little premature on that. Okay.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions?
Nope. You got me.
Cool.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody to speak from the audience on this? Okay. All right, we'll close to the public for discussion and render a decision. Done.
I'd like to make a motion. Is there any discussion?
No.
Go ahead.
Approved CUP 24-35.
Thank you. Motion's been made. Is there a second?
I second.
Any discussion on the motion? Roll call.
Commissioner O'Kelly,
Yes.
Commissioner Kaplan,
Yes.
Commissioner Sanders,
Yes.
Commissioner Simeoni,
Yes.
Commissioner Bowersox,
Yes.
Commissioner Sennett,
Yes.
Commissioner Marshall.
Yes.
I hate to bring this up after the case. I forgot to bring it up. Are they okay with that nonprofit? Even if it doesn't say offices in there?
Oh.
On the conditional use permit?
Oh, okay.
Good question.
Let me take a quick look.
My screw up, because I thought of that a few minutes ago, and I forgot to bring it up.
Yes, sir.
I just want to make sure she's covered.
I think that, thank you for bringing that up, Mr. Chairman. I think we should, is it okay to request a vote on to add the word office into here? Or is that something, because what we have right now, it says respite, daycare, and educational facility. And it was the intention, and I apologize, Lynn, it was our intention to have the words office in there as well. And what would be the right procedure so that, because we are fine with the office, and that was our intent. to allow.
Would we have to vote to bring the subject matter back up? And then we could,
We can make a new motion.
Yeah, just include the word office.
Right. And then also, if you want to add the language about the notice of the surrounding industrial, this would also be the time to do that.
okay, cool. Here's your opportunity. Would anybody like to make a motion, cover that stuff?
So, do we have to vote down the old motion?
No, this is
Okay.
just in.
Okay, I'd like to modify
addition to-
my motion to approve CUP 2435 to include that yes, the industrial notice of the surrounding area, and to include the language that an office may be included.
Offices.
Offices.
Yeah. Thank you.
I second.
Any discussion on that one?
Thank you.
Roll call again.
Commissioner Kelly?
Yes?
Commissioner Kaplan?
Yes.
Commissioner Sanders?
Yes.
Commissioner Simeoni?
Yes.
Commissioner Barstow?
Yes.
Commissioner Sennett?
Yes.
Commissioner Marshall?
Yes.
Sorry about that, guys.
No, covering bases. Good job.
Glad you did it.
Cover bases, but I just forgot. Need to make notes, I guess. All right. Under new business number 1 again, though it's supposed to be number 2. Let me get to it here. Public hearing case number SSCP 2427, Griffin Road, Salon, small-scale comprehensive plan. And after this is introduced, I'm going to go ahead and introduce the other one as well. Okay. Hang on here.
You requested a paper copy.
Well, I brought that up last time. Just the agenda. Public hearing case number SPUD 2428, Griffin Road, Salon, small plant unit development. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. By way of background, this property is located at the south side of Griffin Road and east of Thomas Avenue. It's on the southeast corner of that intersection. It consists of just under half an acre. In the future, staff is anticipating over time with future development, with changes in this area, that this corner is eventually going to become a commercial node. Timing-wise, 1 year, 5 year, 10 years, I don't know. But we do anticipate that over time. So with that, when Melissa is going through this, you'll see some SPUD and some commercial zoning and some things of that nature in the area that allows for office and mini warehouse storage. This particular request is basically, there's a single-family home there. It's been a single-family home for many years, but with that corner generally commercializing over time, the applicant wants to add personal services. So what it would be allowed is like for a salon. And we added some other uses to this request for her so that over time, if she has it for 5 or 10 years or whatever and decides to sell, there would still be some other uses that would be viable. And it wouldn't need to come back, theoretically, it would not need to come back for another rezoning because it would already be planned in there. Ms. Melissa Metters will present the maps and photo exhibits with the aerial zoning, future land use, surrounding land use, zoning, CRA, wetlands, flood zone maps at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. As you can see on the locator map, it's zoomed out with 44C and 468. And with the major roadworks there, roadways. The aerial shows that it is south of Griffin Road and east of County Road 468. There's a vacant lot there, and there it is right there. The zoning is adjacent to the north to an SPUD here, and there's some other stuff that's in the city down 468.
Melissa, I'm having a difficult time
Sorry,
hearing you.
I apologize. I'll try and talk louder. As you can see, the Lake County zoning for the property is RP Residential Professional. The proposed zoning is SPUD. The City of Leesburg future land use is adjacent to general commercial future land use designation to the north, right there. And then the Lake County future land use designation is urban high density. And the proposed future land use for the property is general commercial. And the immediate surrounding land uses are vacant commercial to the north, residential and vacant residential to the east, south, and west, as well as Lake County BCC to the west. There are no flood zone or wetlands on the property, as you can see. The community redevelopment area is near Carver Heights, and the commission district that's nearest is Commission District 1. The top one shows a close-up of the sign facing towards subject property on Griffin Road. The bottom is looking north across Griffin Road from the subject property, looking east along Griffin Road at the top, and looking south onto subject property from Griffin Road at the bottom. And then looking west along Griffin Road from subject property. And that is all I have, Mr. Miller.
Thank you, Melissa. Moving to the departmental review summary. There were no substantive comments from any of the city departments as this project was sent out to the city and Lake County Government and School Board. Public Works of Lake County had no comments on the project. School Board had no comments. It was not applicable for them. The property was signed, noticed, and advertised properly, and no public comments were received. Ms. LaShonda Bernard is the owner, and she was planning to be here. She has been facing some medical issues and is not here today. But I would like to, if you may, Mr. Chairman, just go ahead and read the recommendations. Staff has met with her several times, and we understand the project and would be happy to speak to it if you have any questions. On the small-scale comprehensive plan amendment, SSCP 24-67, Planning and Zoning Division is recommending approval of this request for the following reasons. Number one, the project meets the requirements of Chapter 163.3187 Florida statutes for small-scale comp plan amendments. The proposed request for a small-scale amendment to the general commercial is compatible with the adjacent future land use designations of Lake County Urban High Density and City of Leesburg General Commercial. 3, the proposed request for an SPUD small plan unit development zoning is compatible with the current surrounding zoning districts of Lake County Residential Professional and City of Leesburg small plan unit development. And 4, the proposed future land use designation for the site is consistent with the city's growth management plan. Future land use element goal 1, objective 1.6. The action requested is to vote to approve staff's recommendation to change the future land use of the subject property from Lake County urban high density to City of Leesburg general commercial and forward this recommendation to the City Commission for their consideration. Under the zoning, which is SPUD 24-68 case number, Planning and Zoning Division is recommending approval of this case for the following reasons. Number one, the proposed request for a SPUD zoning is compatible with the current surrounding zoning districts of Lake County RP, which is residential professional, and City of Leesburg small plan unit development. 2, the proposed future land use designation of City of Leesburg general commercial is compatible with the adjacent properties having future land use designations of Lake County urban high density and City of Leesburg general commercial. 3, the site is located near existing utilities which are available at Griffin Road. It's actually, I believe, already connected to city utilities. Number 4, the proposed zoning designation for the site is consistent with the city's growth management plan, future land use element goal 1, objective 1.6, and the action requested is vote to approve the proposed rezoning from Lake County RP residential professional to City of Leesburg small plan unit development and forward this recommendation to the City Commission for their consideration. Within this PUD, small plan unit development, we're just matching it up because there's a small plan unit development across the street. The one to the north across the street there will allow many warehouses and offices, things of that nature. So what Ms. Bernard is asking is to take the house and use it for personal services, and that would be nails, haircuts, spa, those kind of things. What staff did in looking at it and in the expected commercialization that will likely go on in that area, is to add some uses that would make the property, if she decides in the future to sell, so it could continue, for one, as a single-family residence. That's what it was built at. To change it to salon or personal services or any other use, then they'll have to go through the building department and meet all the building codes, which are different for commercial versus residential. The uses we placed in here are salon, personal services, daycare, a physician or medical office, general office, home health care office, and other similar uses which don't negatively impact the property. That would require them to come to us, and we would review it and make sure. So it's just under a half an acre. We have the open space requirements, the dark sky lighting requirements, landscaping requirements, everything you'd normally see in a PUD, but because the lot is half an acre, we cut out a lot of the things that you're normally going to be looking at in a PUD because they weren't necessary. If the county says they need to do anything as far as the access point, they'll have to do that, which I'd be surprised, because not going to, no matter what you put there under these conditions, there's not going to be much traffic. Ms. Harper, the deputy director, and I don't remember if Christine and Melissa were in there, but we met with Ms. Bernard on several occasions, and she seems well equipped to get the job done. Everything else in the PUD, as far as stormwater, wetlands, there's no concerns about that, but it is in the PUD just to be safe. If there are that we don't know about. So beyond that, Mr. Chairman, it's a pretty simple change of use from staff standpoint, and staff is recommending approval, sir.
I just have one question. You said medical's allowed. Now, if they set it up for hair or whatever, excuse me, and then later down the road they wanted medical, would they have to go meet the requirements?
Yes, sir. Anytime you change a use, let's say we know that it's a single family right now. If Ms. Bernard wants to take it into a salon, she has to deal with all of those building requirements.
Plumbing.
Because she's meeting, yes, sir, she's meeting the zoning requirements through this document. Then if it's a salon that they want to turn into a medical office, they would have to come back for a change of use permit, and or change of occupancy, change of use, I forget what the building department calls it. And then there's a whole set of additional building codes that they have to meet.
Right.
Every time you change a use under zoning, a lot of times you have several uses under one zoning category, and that's fine. But when you go into the building, it is different, because what's required for a daycare is completely different from what's required from a retail store, from what's required to a doctor's office. All of those factors play into the building code requirements. So every time there's a change of use.
I assume that. I
Yes.
just wanted to make sure, because I know
That is correct.
I know medical, the parking's more intense.
The water fountains have to be higher or lower.
Higher or
I mean,
lower.
it gets detailed.
Medical, we were comfortable with medical, because in a retail situation, the parking here would be one space per 250 square feet of gross leasable area. For medical, it's one space per 200. So there's still enough room to accomplish that and meet the requirements of this conditional use permit.
Cool. Any other questions of staff? Is anybody here to speak for or against it? Guess not. All right, we'll close to the public, and
What,
yeah, we'll close to whoever. And on case number SSCP 2467, we'll have discussion and render a decision.
Mr. Chairman, if you're ready for a motion, I'm prepared to give you one. On SSCP 2467, I recommend approval.
All right, is there a second?
A second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Kaplan. Yes. Commissioner Sanders.
Yes.
Commissioner Simeoni.
Yes.
Commissioner Bowersox.
Yes.
Commissioner Sennett.
Yes.
Commissioner Marshall.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Kelly.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, public hearing case number SPUD 2428. Is there any discussion or? is there a motion?
2468 or 20?
What'd I say?
You said you got it right.
There's a mistake up there. It's
You got it right, Timmy.
my fault. It's 60.
Keep your mouth shut. Is there a motion? Your
Okay,
kid.
wait.
I'd make it, but you told me to keep my mouth shut.
Okay. I got a question, and I know she said, is it 28 or 68? Because the paperwork, some paperwork says 28, some 68.
Should be 28. Yes. I'm sorry, is it 68?
Yeah, I can put it up on the screen so you have all three.
Thank you, Christine. If you'll look right here, 66, 67, 68. So it is an annexation. I failed to mention that, but that's the correct numbers. The 6 and the 2 are easy
All
to
right.
confuse. We'll get that corrected. Thank you.
Change that to SPUD 2468. Have a motion?
Mr. Chair, for case number SPUD 24-68, I make a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion on that? Roll call.
Commissioner Sanders,
Yes.
Commissioner Simeone,
Yes.
Commissioner Bowersox,
Yes.
Commissioner Sennett,
Yes.
Commissioner Marshall,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Kelly,
Yes.
Commissioner Kaplan.
Thank you very much. I just closed out because I was thinking we were done, but we have to pass on those other ones. Let me take control here. Thanks. New business number 4. And this is why I want a printed copy of the agenda.
So while he's doing that, for the remaining cases, they actually represent 2 separate requests, each a small-scale comp plan and a zoning. Staff is the ones that are requesting that these be postponed. We needed some additional information, traffic analysis, and some things of that nature that we normally receive that we did not receive in time. So we simply said, you're not going to go to this meeting without the information we need. And they understand, and so we're asking that those be postponed to a date certain so we can avoid any re-advertising or anything like that.
Okay, thanks.
We're shut down over here.
Remember, I asked for a copy of one of these last time.
Do you need to use mine?
No, we lost both of ours. All right, with that information, they're asking to be postponed, number 4 to be postponed to May 23rd. Is there a motion for that?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
This is for number 4, SSCP 2473.
Thank you.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Simeone,
Yes.
Commissioner Bowersox,
Yes.
Commissioner Sennett,
Yes.
Commissioner Marshall,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Kelly,
Yes.
Commissioner Kaplan,
Yes.
Commissioner Sanders.
Yes.
Thank you. New business number 5, public hearing case number SPUD 2474. They've asked for a postponement to May 23rd as well. Do you have a motion to postpone?
Mr. Chairman, on SPUD 2474, I move to accept the postponement.
Thank you.
I second that motion.
Thank you very much. Any discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Bowersox,
Yes.
Commissioner Sennett,
Yes.
Commissioner Marshall,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Kelly,
Yes.
Commissioner Kaplan,
Yes.
Commissioner Sanders,
Yes.
Commissioner Simeone,
Yes.
All right. New business number 6, public hearing case number SSCP 2487. They asked for postponement till May 24th or 23rd as well. Do we have a motion to postpone?
I'd like a motion to, we postpone SSCP 24-87.
Thank you.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Senior,
Yes.
Commissioner Marshall,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Kelly.
Yes.
Commissioner Kaplan.
Yes.
Commissioner Sanders.
Yes.
Commissioner Simeoni.
Yes.
Commissioner Bowersox.
Yes.
New business number 7, public hearing case number PUD 2488. They're asking to postpone to May 23rd. Is there a motion to approve the postponement?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to postpone PUD 24-88.
Thank you very much. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Marshall.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Kelly.
Yes.
Commissioner Kaplan.
Yes.
Commissioner Sanders.
Yes.
Commissioner Simeoni.
Yes.
Commissioner Bowersox.
Yes.
Commissioner Senior.
Yes. All right. Is there any business to come before this body?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
tentatively, I've got to clear this with the city manager on May 13th. Staff's going to be making a presentation to the city commission regarding the comprehensive plan. Basically, what it is, how it works, those things. We'd like to encourage you, and I will know more and we'll send it out in case you would like to attend or watch on YouTube or Lakefront TV. They broadcast those. But that's a tentative date. The city clerk, city manager just asked us to talk to the commission about what the comp plan is and how it works and how it's put together. Those kind of, it's a 10, 15 minutes, all it'll be. But we want to let you know that was happening, and then we will likely want to do the same thing for this body after we've done it for the commission as the city manager requested.
Can we do that and Sunshine together?
Sure.
We still haven't done that, and I'd like to have a little education, let everybody know what to do and what not to do.
Sure.
I think it's a good idea. We haven't done it. Probably haven't done that in 25 years since I was on this before. Cool. Anything else?
Yes, I have a question of staff that I talked to Dan earlier about. Lee School, see they're putting a fence around it, and it sounds like they're going to be moving towards a demo.
Yes, sir. My understanding at the latest information I have is that the code enforcement stated that the owner had 120 days to get the buildings demoed. That was probably 10 to 14 days ago. So the clock is running. It's probably 105 days or so left. I don't know the exact number. So there has been a fence placed around the buildings. I have had some complaints from the folks that go to church there that they've lost their parking spots, but I'm sorry. But yeah, there is a fence around it, and the buildings will be coming down within that time period. From there, what's next is your guess is as good as mine.
Okay.
But that's the
basically
status at this
to be torn
time.
down within
Yes,
the next
sir.
120 days.
Yes, sir.
What I read today of the scuttlebutt now is to maybe put apartments in over there.
I just have a question. The last memory I have of demoing the buildings was conditioned upon them beginning construction.
Getting construction for 8 townhouse units at the time.
Yeah.
The historic board in what's April? I think it was in March. There was a meeting of the historic board, and they voted to allow the demo with no conditions.
Okay.
Just and with the number of police calls to drugs and everything that's been happening over there, it's it is what it
Safety
is.
issue.
Yes, sir.
Well, they've gotten away with it for a long time. I mean,
Yes, they have.
my building on Dixie was bad, but that's way longer and way worse.
Yeah. Thank you, Dan.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, as you talk to them, and this is just my opinion, whatever that's worth. Whether it's apartments or condos or whatever, I would suggest that they try to put the units closer to the road, ask for a variance on the setbacks, and
Okay.
put the parking inside, within the middle of the. That way, the buildings are on the outside, all the parking and the recreation, all that's on the inside, and it's blocked by the buildings. Because that's what,
Well, to add to that, if I may, Mr. Chairman,
finish a minute.
the church there is one of the most historic districts, corners in town. And if it's going to be apartments, they're 4 or 5 stories, I think that would be very negative impact on that corner. If it's going to be low, I could see the problem, not as big a problem. But to put a 4-story, 5-story building right across from the church, I think would not be a planning win for Leesburg in any way, shape, or form.
I think we got to be careful about that. I mean, they haven't applied yet, but
right.
To do that, they're going to have to come
just
before us. Yeah. So, make it a sunshine.
One point in regard to that, the current building, as it sits, the south building, is the equivalent of a 3-floor. It's a 2-floor, but it's the equivalent if you look at the way it's built, and it sits back. So, is there a way? And I can't guarantee anything, but is there some kind of compromise here where I can't guarantee it, but if we suggest they have some setback, let's say near the church, but maybe along Perkins or somewhere, they're closer to the road, something that works that's not, because I get the point that let's put the parking on the inside. That's certainly a very good idea from a planning aspect. And we don't want to overshadow the church building either. But I think good design.
Yeah, no reason I
help.
brought it up so you could bring
Yes,
it up
sir.
to the developers, and they'll go, hey, that's a good idea. Because I had a developer that wanted to buy that years ago, and that's what they were going to do, is build townhomes and then have like 2 entrances, for whatever roads, and then the buildings on the edges. Then the inside will be where the parking is, and then have a little park area in the middle, So.
Some of the parking could be under the buildings even.
This makes it taller.
But then you might make it taller, yeah.
Well, some of the concepts that they had proposed before was, they will have to have some water retention areas, and they were going to have 1 or 2 entrances anyway with interior parking. I think one corner was going to be open parking.
Well, the picture I saw today, when I saw what they were talking about, was the buildings were going to be on 2 corners, like L's, and then the whole other side is going to be all parking. So there's no, parking's it's in the middle, but it's also on one side.
Long way to carry groceries.
Yeah. So anyway, that was just something to pass on today.
I appreciate the advice.
That's it.
That mean we're adjourned, sir?
We done.
Thank you, sir. Try not to turn